Joga, 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 joga. E ela come e bota a bunda pro ar, vem no bailão pra geral se embrasar. E ela come e bota a bunda pro ar, vem no bailão pra geral se embrasar. Brasa pequena, rola que cadê o chão? A vida tá foda, sempre foda, olha meu irmão. Mas vem tranquilo, vem curtir um funk por aí. Vai de positivo, chamei minha amiga, vem se divertir. Quando chega sexta-feira, fica geral na emoção. Cadê aquele orgulho que nós tínhamos a nação? O funk é arte, cultura e diversão. Será que dá pra ver no país corrupção? E ela come e bota a bunda pro ar, vem no bailão pra geral se embrasar. E ela come e bota a bunda pro ar, vem no bailão pra geral se embrasar. Joga com e bota logo a bunda para o ar, vem no bailão, emoção pra geral se embrasar. Chama teu vulgo malvadão, geral na emoção. Bora curtir um funk e rebolar até o chão. Palma da mão e desce até o chão. Palma da mão e desce até o chão. Palma da mão e desce até o chão. Palma da mão e desce. E ela come e bota a bunda pro ar, vem no bailão pra geral se embrasar. E ela come e bota a bunda pro ar, vem no bailão pra geral se embrasar. E ela come e bota a bunda pro ar, vem no bailão pra geral se embrasar. E ela come e bota a bunda pro ar, vem no bailão pra geral se embrasar.
Yo, I be flexing, I be flexing, I be flexing, I got the work. I be flexing, I got the work. Yo, I be flexing, I be flexing, I be flexing, I be flexing, I got the work. I be flexing, I got the work. Yo, I be flexing, find me out with the finest mommies. Yo, you can't find your girl, that's cause she right behind me. My diamonds so shiny, even sometimes they blind me. My repertoire's big, nothing I do is tiny. They wanna be me when they see me, cause that's just a rude awakening. Try me or deny me, and I am the dude who will take it there. I got money trees and in this season, watch I take them in. You just junior flexing, man, that's cute, somebody break them in. Flexing with my dogs, flexing with my bras. I'm flexible when flexing, cause I flex like it's my job. You can't see me like Mirage, I'm flexing just because. How you gon' pull up and pull jigs when your car's in a garage? Never that. Did somebody ever say they better at flexing big? I go bigger, and that's how I get them back. You cannot flex on me or get the best of me. I'm master flex like Master Chef, I just got the recipe. Yo, I be flexing, I be flexing, I be flexing, I got the work. I be flexing, I got the work. Yo, I be flexing, I be flexing, I got the work. I be flexing, I got the work. Yo, I be flexing, Look, I ain't playing no games with none of y'all that won't play this. I'm stunting on them, I'm stunt man, I'm famous. Never seen so many plexing, all y'all got anguish. If y'all talk about flexing, y'all talking my language. I swear on everything, y'all something else. So much hate, I'm shocked to say that all y'all got something left. Just know I'm flexing on everything, if nothing else. That's why I put these boys away, put them boys up on the shelf. No weight room, I superset. Pull two cars out at once, call that a super flex. Y'all looking just super stressed, I'm looking so super blessed. If you ain't got no flex, then I call that a super mess. Tell the world all about me. I flex hard, and I might be
The world's best gather here. XBL baseball starts now. crushed to the moon, and we're tied.
He picks it up on the second, over to first in time for the double play that ends the inning.
That's gone.
Oh my, oh my, oh my.
Trying to repeat.
It's gone!
And Homer to the pen. This game is over.
Oh! Crushed! Left field! Off the pole! Good evening, everybody. Sorry about that. I was clicking around behind the scenes and I managed to jump into the preview, and that is no worries. Here tonight, we are bringing you the one and only XBL Season 18 preview show, and it is going to be a big one, folks. Myself, Dwayne, going to be bringing you the MC type action, and joining me is a litany of our casting crew. It's pretty much everybody that you could think of. And starting off the top, we've got our man Sham in the booth. First time I've ever been with Sham in the booth. Really excited that you're here, man. It's going to be great to hear your expertise on things, and you've really invigorated this league with your energy. And yeah, man, just welcome in. How you feeling tonight?
Yeah, I'm feeling great. Season 18's getting started. It's my second season. It's the 18th season of the XBL. I mean, what more could you ask for? We just finished a cup. We had some amazing playoffs at the end of season 17, and so I think we got a lot of folks roaring to go here. Roaring. We're ready to go. Let's do it.
Yeah, rearing, same difference. I mean, everybody is literally chomping at the bit to probably get those games in starting tomorrow after the games end on Match of the Week, where we're going to have that huge triple header. It's going to be really, really exciting. But like I said, we're not alone. It's not just me and Sham, and we're going to bring it over to Zlot next, who's joining us here in the booth. Zlot's been with us all through the playoffs last season, a little bit at the end of the last season as well here in the booth. And man, you're a great veteran, and it's great to hear your opinion on things and see what your expertise can bring to the table. How you feeling tonight?
Yeah, I'm excited as well. Surrounded by a great crew of people here. Really just excited for the new season to kick off. Like you said, we got a great triple header tomorrow. We got a bunch of new faces in the league. So just super excited.
Yeah, that's totally true. I mean, it's always really exciting to bring this to all of our new faces if you haven't seen this before. I mean, we're going to go through all of the rankings, all of the Match of the Week schedule. We have some sizzling hot takes for you all and things like that. And this is really just where we get to kind of just chop it up and get really, really excited about the season. And there's really no man who gets more excited about anything that's XPL related than the man I'm about to bring to you next. And that is the one and only mystery man, the AAA aficionado, the GOAT, the Hall of Famer. How are you, brother?
I'm really good, Train. We were looking at this season, and we kind of had a little bit of a delay there, maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks. And, we kind of wanted to rush into the season thinking we wanted, get going while it's hot, and a little bit worried if things kind of drag out. But it was really nice to see. It seemed like the excitement just got more and more as we started to approach here. And then we ended up with so many teams, and everybody's so excited and win. I think it really helped that we had such a good AA group last season to really kind of bolster AAA and kind of head that top end of AA.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. I mean, we can't say enough, and we've already said it too about the AA last season, and the AA this season's back in action again. And back-to-back seasons for the AA is a huge feat. It's something that we wanted to see for a long time. It's something we've only ever seen, I think, one other time aside from now. So, the AA being back in action again, like you said, it bolsters up the rest of the league. It's a true foundational type thing that really brings in a lot of new players and a lot of new energy. And a ton of those people, I hope, are here tonight to get to see what we've got for them. And what we've got for you, last but not least, is our final caster that's joining us for the preview show tonight. And that is God's Unicorn. Uni's got a little something for us here. Oh, my God. He's got his unicorn on.
We got a little something for you, boys. Listen, not only happy Halloween to everybody a day late, all right? Happy Halloween, but also happy season 18. This is what we've all been waiting for. We love the
Yes.
season start, and it rolled in so perfectly this season, guys. But I wanted to introduce a bit. I wanted to bring some fun to these ranking shows that can definitely drag out a little bit long. All right. I obviously got a unicorn. This is the best I could find, guys. This is the best. I shopped the day after Halloween. What do you expect? They had this unicorn horn, all right? And what I want to introduce to y'all, love me or hate me, I want to introduce to y'all every ranking show. I'm going to present a unicorn of the week. And this is why it stands out, not over my name, okay? Think about what a unicorn is. It's magical. It's untouchable. It's rare. And these are going to be rare. We only do 3 or 4 ranking shows per year, okay? And only one person's going to get awarded every time, league-wide, XBL through AA. There's not one person per league. We're not giving out no participation trophies, and it's going to be given out to the person who I think, yes, dictator mentality, just me, thinks had the most excellent, untouchable, magical week, or in this case, usually 2 weeks for our ranking show. We'll get the unicorn of the week, but the beauty of it is, for people that love bits, I will dress up as something your team themed. Okay, I'm only a unicorn now because we have no one else. If you're Mystery Man and you win the unicorn of the week, you might see Scooby-Doo pop on that camera. Okay, if there's that and you win it, you might see a hot chili pepper pop up on your screen and give you the unicorn of the week, and I will read out what an awesome week you had, guys. So that's my bit. I'm committed to it. Cringy or not, I'm committed to this bit, and let's have a great season 18. I'm so excited for the show, and this thing's really hot, so I'm ready for the cameras to turn off so I can get my hat back on.
Wow. I mean, full disclosure to all of you, he surprised us all with that one, and that is a fantastic idea and an amazing, amazing wig. I don't know where you found that. That is beautiful. You should wear that for. And if you win a game wearing that, then you're gonna have to wear it for the rest of the season. But wow, I mean, Uni, we love that idea. The unicorn of the week, we're gonna bring that in hardcore come roundup time. So really, really excited for that. And with that being said, folks, I think we can get ready to jump into things. We're going to be going for first the AA rankings. So just give me a moment here to do a quick swap around, and we'll pass it over to Sham and I believe Mystery Man now.
Yep.
We'll be doing our AA rankings. Pardon me, I just have to move a couple screens.
You gotta speed this up if you want unicorn of the week. Come on now.
All right, we're going to take it over now quickly, transition. And we are looking first at our one and only team here at the bottom. One of the newest players here in the XBL. It's Jank is how we're going to go about pronouncing that.
Yeah, Jank, number 13 out of 13. I mean, hey, it is early on. I haven't seen you play personally, but we're really happy you're here. Miss, have you seen Mr. J or Miss J play yet?
Yeah, Mr. J3. We'll call him J3 for now, but
I dig it.
I thought he looked really good when I played him, to be quite frank. So this spot at the bottom is clearly just a placeholder. Has some work to do. Not really AAA level yet, so has some work to do. But I think no question can compete in AA.
Yeah, that's great to hear. I mean, Ego 75. There's a lot of room to go up, a lot of room to go down, and I mean that's the great thing about AA is it stays competitive.
Yeah, gonna be excited to see what Jay can do. Really, really exciting to always have new blood in the game, and like you said, always a placeholder ranking, especially in these AA, where it can kind of be the Wild West early on in these first couple weeks. We'll take it up to 10, 11, and 12, and this is Black Sox 96, a player who's recently joined us, followed by Evil Beach Towel 2, a player making his rookie season who's been in a lot of scrimmages throughout the past. And we've got Cookie Monster 1 and the Philadelphia Liberty, who came in late in the offseason and is ready to jump right into the mix.
Yeah, awesome. Hey, 3 rookies, you love to see it. We're at the bottom here just because we don't know how things are going to turn out yet, but starting with the Black Sox, I love that logo. Respects that you're doing the Black Sox. It's a great city you're representing there. So excited to see you. I know you've been really active in chat, and good luck this season. I think you're going to do great.
Yeah, I actually did have the pleasure to play Cookie Monster the other day. I loved his approach to the game. overwhelmed a little bit right now, but seems to have the makings from everything I've seen. Skipping to the Black Sox, this is a player with a ton of experience. Now, the bat speed and some of the ability to read certain pitches is not totally there, which is why the ego is a bit lower. But Black Sox can pitch and does have quite a bit of experience. So, and I saw a couple of decent scrims come across the board. I was a little worried about the Black Sox, but I think the Black Sox will be okay. As far as Evil Beach Towel, I have no idea what this popped in just like 2 or 3 days ago. I have no idea anything about Beach Towel.
I think Beach Towel, you've been around for a little bit, at least a couple of weeks, right? I think I saw you burning through your scrims as fast as you could, which is a good sign of commitment. And starting at 71, that's a great place to be in AA, and we look forward to seeing what you've got to show us this season.
Yeah, exciting group here. Great creative logos too. Always love me a little bit of Philly love. Excited to see the Lumineers and the Black Sox already got a shout out, so we'll be excited to see what he brings. We've got Prestone getting the first honor of Wishbone's logo of choosing, followed by Spartacus and Joey with the Sickos, who's making a big comeback.
Oh, I got really excited. Prestone, I thought that was going to be your new logo because that is an amazing pelican there. But Prestone did great last season. He's got some good pitches. He's got a great eye at the plate. He does a good job of laying off junk, and he's done a good job of when he was pitching against me. I remember he got me to swing at a lot of really bad stuff. So great to see that you're back this season, and I think it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, start with Joey. Joey has some talent, so it's always been hardware with Joey. So it's going to be just a question of getting that switch going. I know he had some hardware issues to even play the game, so hopefully we get Joey back and his Sickos going away from the Teamsters, which I hate to see, but the Sickos is kind of an interesting deal here. I like the logo. So hopefully Joey can get going. The other two, just based on the record, they're fine. They're going to be fine this season. A little surprised to see Spartacus ranked even as low as 8. I would think a little bit higher than that, but only ego, 65. So maybe still finding his legs.
Yeah, I agree. I remember last season, Spartacus did a great job of laying off those bad pitches and only swinging at good ones. He was very picky at the plate and took a lot of thought on my part to make any headway when I was pitching. So, 12-12 last season, that's no slouch. I think 8 is probably, you're right, a little too low. I expect to see Spartacus move up in the rankings as the season goes on.
Yeah, really exciting group here. Just as a note, Joey joining us back from season 15. Joey took a season hiatus. These other two on their sophomore season. So getting into a little bit of veteran territory here in the AA. It's always just we love seeing returning players. At least I do. It's one of my favorite things in the entire world. Move up to ranks 4, 5, and 6. We've got Bo Dangles, who switched over to the City Walk Knights. Love that City Walk logo. Followed by Malik Dragonborn and the Beholders are going to be on Match of the Week tomorrow night. And then SpongeHog and the St. Louis Rockers are back in the AA after making what was a massive wave in that past AA playoff.
Yeah, absolutely. Did we switch the rankings here? Is it 6, 4, 5? Or am I
skip?
No,
that's right.
Yeah, let's go on. Yeah, so starting with SpongeHog, he and I had one of the most ridiculous all-out brawls last season in the playoffs.
Oh yeah,
where all of a sudden his bat just became impossible not to hit a home run. So I expect to see SpongeHog do great things this season. I think he's going to move up and be one of the top players in the league. He's got, I think, a little bit of maturity to go on the mound. But at the end of that season, he was on a ridiculous upwards trajectory of skill. And so I expect to see that continue this season. And I'm glad I'm not playing him again.
Yeah, I think just looking at the records, and if you couple that with just how quickly SpongeHog has been on the uptick, these players seem to be pretty close to equal. I know Bo Dangles is very well respected. Probably could have been in the top 3, but regardless, these are going to be playoff types, and it's just going to be maybe it won't be Spongehawk maybe it'll be Mechalo Dragon who suddenly takes off. You never know who's going to get hot, but Spongehawk was the guy last season that really started to jump ego really quickly.
Yeah, he sure did. But yeah, Bo Dangles is also a great player. He knows how to punish pitches. His ego, I know, has been slowly ticking up, through the end of last season. So I expect he's going to be finishing with a positive record, or at least a higher ego than what we see here. He has a great approach at the plate. And the Beholders there, I mean, hopefully they, with that kind of logo, you're just hoping to freeze the batters in place. And, at the mound last season, I remember he was scary to hit against. And we had a couple games this offseason. He made a lot of progress, and I think he had a pretty good comeback win against me. So I expect him to do great things this season.
Yeah, great crew here. I saw the Tryhard City Beat on the logo, and I almost laughed out loud in the middle of you guys talking because it was such a funny logo. That's a really good job by Bo Dangles there, getting that done inside the logo editor. But yeah, just love this group. Love the sophomores here. Love having just everybody ready to rock and roll. And now we'll take it up to ranks 1, 2, and 3. Our first top 3 of the night in the AA, and Infinity AB and the Falcons, from being below 500. Take it to the top ranking here to start off the preseason in season 18 after he loses that World Series so closely to Silly Power Ranger. Followed by Kawashi Blue and the Icebirds, who have gotten a ton of love after that cup performance. And Simon, a newcomer with his Jailbird Simon, a true offseason warrior, ready to start his XBL career.
Yeah, I'm really surprised. I'm not familiar with Simon. I don't think we've had a chance to play together, but it sounds like you've been really impressing everybody. So hopefully this isn't too much pressure on your shoulders here, because number 3 preseason is nothing to laugh at. We expect they're going to have an awesome season. But I remember casting the World Series for AA last season. The Falcons, wow, just put up a heck of a fight. Took it really deep. Those were some really fun games. And Infinity's made just huge improvements since the beginning of season 17. And so I think putting him at rank 1 is a pretty obvious choice here. Kawashi too, 13 and 11, finished with a positive record. He had some great pitching. He did a great job of punishing bad pitches when we played. Took a lot of mixing inside outside to try to get him out. So I'm excited to see that he's ranked number 2, because he's definitely deserves it this season.
Yeah, this is a tough group. I did play Simon in the cup, and he did split with me. So I think he was on 80 or 81. He did a good job. I like his approach to the game. Has a pretty good eye. Has some of the shortcomings you would expect from a lower player, but everything looks good with him from what I've seen. Kawashi, these other two could possibly they could be in AAA. I mean, they're just not, but they could be. But I think those are the proper, top 2.
One thing I really like to see here with all these rankings is that there's a nice mix of ego. And that's what we saw at the end of last season too, is that when everything shook out, we had egos mixed up and down the board. I mean, there were 80s towards the top, but we had 60s mixed in at the top of the rankings, and a couple 80s at the bottom. And so that's what makes this fun, is that it's not just like being overpowered here. It gives having the ego slider gives everybody a chance to compete, and makes for a lot of really fun games. So awesome to see these preseason rankings, and can't wait to see some AA matches of the week later this season.
Yeah, love to see this group up here at the top. I mean, we saw in chat and all avian top 3. We also see in chat a little bit of Uni getting into some trouble. But anyway, this is just a great group. I think you really have all said it about the AA. Sham and Mist, I think you both just did an amazing job outlining this group. I'm really, really excited to see how it all turns out here in the AA, because like I said earlier, kind of like the Wild West down here. It's gonna be a huge flux of ego, tons of upsets, tons of different types of I don't even know what kind of baseball can go on when the egos are shifted like that. So it's gonna be really, really exciting. And we're gonna take it to where things are a little less developmental, and to where we may start to consider some of us in that career SMB territory. We're gonna jump up into the AAA season preview here for season 18, and these rankings here, we've got our own Sham and Pupper Dog here rounding us out at the bottom of the AAA, and we're going to switch it over to our AAA specialists. So without further ado, Mystery Man, you want to start it out?
Yeah, I don't know who put Puffer Dog down here. I had Puffer Dog in the middle, so I don't know what. That's kind of interesting. I think Puffer Dog can do it. Sham can do it. It is a little bit of a jump for Sham, I think, based on my scrims with him. But again, a really good approach. I think Sham, again, I think I said it in my own personal reviews. If he can be better than or as good as the other risers from AA, which there's no reason he can't be, it earned one of those lower playoffs slots under 10.
Yeah, I mean, I defaulted to ranking rookies at the bottom. That's just kind of my MO after being in the league for a few years. When you move up, it's really tough. It's just really, really tough because it's not only an ego up, but you're facing just a higher skill level. It's really simple as that. Puffer Dog, I wasn't super familiar with. Like, he played some last year in the AA, and he was pretty good, but he didn't finish his season, so you don't have a huge sample size on him. I did love his logo. I think it's great. He's obviously sponsored by Shaq. Then we've got Shamaronium in the booth, and I mean, booth usually gets you at least a few points, so you would maybe expect him to be further up, but rank 19, once again, just a guy moving up from AA to AAA. Sham has played me tough in scrim, so I have no doubt that he can be fine. His batting average in AA is something that can translate into the 300s range in AAA. So as a fellow booth member, I'm really rooting for you, Sham.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, love these two here. We've got Puffer Dog returning after, like we said, not finishing, but jumping back into the mix, ready to play. We love to see that, and we're definitely going to see some interesting stuff out of Sham this season. I don't know. I think he's going to be able to take it up to that next level. And let's take it up now to this next level in the AAA. We've got MC, not Hammer, it's MC Vibraphone in rank 16, followed by Johnny Caliber, who's going to be on AAA Match of the Week to start things off. And there's his opponent, Silly Power Ranger, right behind him. Two players yet to submit a logo, getting the Wishbone treatment. And then Johnny in the middle with a really cool new logo. I think that's pretty fire.
Yeah, again, I'm shocked here because I had Silly Power Ranger at number 10 in my rankings. But yeah, Power Ranger and Johnny are about equal. They I think those were the two that, along with Sham and maybe MC, seemed to be pretty much dominating AA last season. I would have had Silly much higher than this, but Johnny, I don't know, because he struggled so much in AAA. That's really the only thing, because he did so well last season. I hope he gets going, and he comes with the fire logo there that everybody's been admiring. And then MC Hammer, also known as Vibraphone, there at number 16. I'm surprised he would be ranked above these two, but at the end of the day, MC Vibraphone has already had some experience in AAA and was not a bad player. So, I mean, he's certainly going to hold his own. I don't expect him to be top 5, but could he reach 10 or 8? Possibly.
Yeah, good points. And I just want to say real quick, because I don't think anyone said it before, Wishbone put custom logos for people that didn't submit theirs. That's why you see some of this funny shit, like MC Hammer chime over there. It's great. I'm ready to see what else Wish had. But Silly Power Ranger was obviously the AA champion last year, I believe, or at least went far in the playoffs and was a really strong player. He was the Mercs before, I think, and changed his stuff up now. I think he'll be fine because he was a really strong pitcher, if I remember correctly. Sorry if I'm not super educated on what AA had last year. Then, I mean, I ranked Johnny and Vibraphone above him. Miss just said he had opposite, but Johnny and Vibe, they both have AAA experience. Obviously, Johnny went 2-39 in his first AAA season, but that was a tough season. That was a season where the next year we moved up, I think, 4 or 5 players from the AAA to the XBL. So it wasn't just a cakewalk type of AAA season where there was a lot of middling teams. There were some dominant teams that year, and like people have pointed out, his logo is absolute fire. I love it. Then MC Vibraphone, I've got high hopes for him because I think his game translates really well. He did play in the AA last year and didn't get to where he wanted to go. If I was to guess, he started off slow, but really finished hot going into the playoffs. but the way his game translates is he's a strong pitcher. When I played him in my first AA season and in my second season in the AAA, he caused problems for me. He was hard to score on. He's one of those guys that can hold you down and then put up a few runs on small balls. So MC Vibraphone's someone that I think will be just fine, and I'm rooting for him because he helped me with a lot of my programming homework last semester. So shout out Vibraphone.
There you
Damn, that's clutch.
Yeah,
love
clutch.
to hear that in the
I wouldn't
XBL.
be here today without Vibraphone, boys.
We love to hear that in the XBL, that we got outside professional interactions going on here. I've got Flash on LinkedIn, so you know I love that stuff. So anyway, let's move on up to the next three rankings here. This group here has got a ton of potential, but I think, you know, there's going to be so much more to talk about as we move up the board, and it's 13, 14, and 15. I mean, baby, let's hike. We've got Diesel over here at 13. He's been slighted in the cup. The XBLPAA is filing litigation as we speak. And then he's followed up by Rise and Fall, a tried and true member who also, you know, is just one of the AAA's bats. I mean, both of them on their 8th AAA seasons. And then there's a rookie, Julio Aces, who's made a huge wave in this offseason so far.
Yeah, Aces, I think he's the Billy Banko. He's the sleeper. He's the spaceman Spumoni. He's the one that you worry about as a rookie. Gonna do just fine. This is low for him. He's gonna do just fine. Rise and Fall, the classic rise. You know, he's gonna hang around the bottom. He's gonna make the playoffs. He's gonna steal at least a 1 win on Match of the Week, and he's gonna be, you know, he's gonna at least take a game in the playoffs at some point. And then Diesel scares me. Diesel, the last run-in I had with Diesel did not go well. So, and he's bringing his hikers back, which he hasn't had for a little while. So I look for actually big things from Diesel, but I don't know. It's risky. I don't know with him, but I do think there's some serious upside with Diesel.
Yeah, Julio's just getting that rookie treatment. If you look at his scrims, he's been scrimming on 90, and he's done well. He's scored runs. His problem has been pitching, but he's been playing. When you're in scrims, you're playing a lot of XBL guys. You're playing a lot of top-tier AAA guys, and Julio's just getting that rookie treatment. I think, like you said, Mist, he's going to move up. I see him as a 10-plus in the rankings player by the end of the year. I think the biggest curve for new players, especially people who haven't really battled out a lot of PvP, is just learning how to pitch to players, because it's so much different than playing the computer. So much different. And then is it not so perfect to have Rise and Fall and D-Seal together? Two guys who have been in the league for so long, and I feel like they're ranked together, tied to the hip the entire season. Every year it feels like they have really similar play styles. Both are such great guys and always return. And they play their games, and I love to see it. Rise and Fall, small balls on you. He's got a really speedy lineup this season, and what I heard is he left a lot of power on the table, but for his gameplay, that's just going to lead to more bloopers and more anger for the rest of AAA. And then I love to see D-Seal and the Hikers return, bringing that logo back. That's great. That's what, when I came into the league, I knew D-Seal as the Hikers, and I had to play him in AAA. It was awesome. So these are two guys that are going to be a problem to get a sweep on, as they are every year. Really big split type of guys, D-Seal and Rise and Fall, and two guys that are always in the playoffs or battling for it and always improving. So look for them to move up for sure. This whole group, look for these guys to move up.
Yeah, I think you could definitely say that about these three. And I do want to take a quick highlight on these two that are the veterans here. As you know, that this is their 8th AAA season. These two have played seasons in the AA as well. And with that into account, you know, the XBL Hall of Fame accepts players automatically after 10 seasons. So if you want to go on the website and do some math, at the end of the season, you might be looking at a couple of Hall of Famers here. So really exciting stuff here from Diesel and Rise and Fall. Just two players whose longevity speaks for more than anything. So, you know, just always happy to have them back once again, time after time. And moving up on the board, we've got 10, 11, and 12. And speaking of players who are coming back, there's no chance an XBL OG like me is going to talk about anything else And if I see Alex logo on the board, that's the first thing I'm gonna look at. That Alec is back. Season 4 champion. I don't know when season 4 was. 2019? I don't know. Alec is back, ranked at number 12. Above him, you've got Fireball Max. He's raring to go. I scrimmed the guy. I wanted to quit the game. And we've got Ricks up above him, who's always a AAA threat, a AAA Grim Reaper. So, I mean, Miss, take it away. This is a fire trio.
Well, forget the trio. Let's just look at the logos here. We could just shut the show down right now, I think.
Hell yeah.
Our logo.
This is the fire logo screen. I don't care what anybody says. Yeah, Alec, how well he'll do, who knows? Was a solid player maybe 3 seasons ago, trained something like that.
Mm-hmm.
He took a game off of me. I think we had a lot of lag in unfortunately in our series, but the game that he did win was not lag related, so he's going to be a tough player. Fireball Max has the offense. Pitching is extremely questionable, but kind of like Billy B or Snowbird on her worst day. It's not going to matter what the pitching is. If he gets going, he gets Roberto getting his 2 or 3 home runs in a game. Going to be tough to beat those odds. But, back when he was in, I think it was the AA. I think he was running up like, I don't know, him and Ox had like a 28-30 score or something like that. But anyway, Ricks is just a fantastic player. I think Ricks's dedication and maybe his ability and time to play the game kind of wavers. But if you just look at talent, Ricks could easily be top 5.
Yeah, Alec is someone that I've heard about, and I haven't been in the league too long. I'm always against the OG talk because I'm about that new. Talk about people like me and Burning Eyes. But Alec, if I've heard about you, that means you're great. You've done something great, because y'all know I don't read that much, so that means he's been mentioned plenty. And not only does it say he's a champion, that's XBL, if I'm reading that right. Season 4 XBL, not AAA. XBL champion, Von Asen. And that's someone you're going to have to watch out for. I think Alec, from what I've heard, is someone you're going to see ranked a lot higher by the end of the season. Even me, myself, never witnessing a game from him, I had him ranked higher than this just based off what I heard. Fireball Max comes back, and hopefully he can finish the season this year, because Fireball Max is someone that's great. He had that ESPN-style ticker on his stream last year that everyone went nuts over. It was so great. And he's a crazy hitter. He's got that one batter, I always forget his name. Miss, what's his name on Fireball Max's team? See,
Roberto
Miss
Ramos.
Learned too many times. He's got that name down to it. He knows it. Roberto Ramos. He's just got an excellent batter's eye, and the way he can hit the long ball with his power guys is really pretty impressive. So Fireball's somebody that can easily put up a lot of runs and get hot. He's someone that can get hot and going into the playoffs and have like a Snowbird Billy type of playoff run. And then Ricks, we saw him in season 16, like it says on there. He was the runner-up. He played in the championship series. He made it all the way, and I believe it was a 7-game series against Zlat, and Zlat was beating Dynasty that year. Dynasty was breaking every record, and then he runs into Ricks, and he actually has some trouble. So Ricks is obviously someone that has the skill level. Like Miss said, it might be more of a factor of can't practice a whole lot because of life and stuff like that, which if you're prioritizing life, it is what it is. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to prioritize XBL, but everybody's
There you
different.
go. Boy.
And Ricks is great. He's super weird with his arsenals, but that works for him because he's so good at pitching with it. So Ricks is somebody that when he plays the way he can, he's a top 3 player, top 2 player. But when he's kind of in and out, he's more of the range he's at right now, 10 to 15 type of guy.
Yeah, really, really interesting group here. I mean, I've already said my piece about Alec, and I mean, Fireball Max, we had an insane playoff series when I played in the AAA in season 15. I mean, the dude is pure dog. I played a match of the week against him as well. I think one of the games was like 25-19 or some insane score like that. So, true dog. And, yeah, Ricks is someone I'd never want to meet in the pub, like type shit. It doesn't matter. So this is a really, really good group. And we'll move up to 7, 8, and 9, where it gets to an even more intense kind of volume in the AAA. These two players who scrimmed themselves probably silly in the offseason. It's Splifstar and Burning Ice, followed up by Corn Central, who got the wishbone treatment probably harder than anybody so far here on the stream here tonight.
Oh, that is brutal, but God, it looks really good. I think you should do it. But anyway,
Gotta import that, man.
I got to import that somehow. Break all the rules here.
Mod the game.
Corny's been taken off. There was a conversation about putting him in XBL, so definitely somebody to watch very, very closely. Offensively has the talent to jump well ahead of his current rank there. Isn't the greatest pitcher yet, but isn't that bad. Burning Ice, the opposite. Burning Ice, he's going to get you out. You're going to be angry. You're going to slam the controller a few times. But you only have to get 4 or 5 runs, and that's what holds him back. But a really good player, always a dog in the scrims. Really a pretty good guy. I've scrimmed him a lot, and he's always been a gracious player to work with. And then Splifstar, a little bit similar. I think Splifstar has a little bit better bat. They're both kind of wild. But Spliffy seems to have the makings of putting it together on offense, even though he seems to be a little streaky with that. He does appear to have a little bit of a clutch gene at the plate. And with his pitching, that makes him really tough. I expect Splifstar to finish no lower than 5 this season.
Yeah, great group here. Corn, I believe, I had him ranked higher, and that's because his record doesn't show it. 10-18. But that was his first season. And when you watch Corn, especially on the match of the week, where I believe he played Mist, you saw him absolutely lock in on the mound and like locating at absurd levels, XBL levels, no doubt. His hitting can lax at times. He can start expanding the zone, which is normal for really most of AAA. But whenever he does lock in, Corn is somebody that could easily make a run for the trophy. Even I'm very high on Corn, and in the SMNL just this last season, he was the number 1 seed. And there's a lot. Sorry, I don't know if y'all hear that. There's a monster truck outside apparently. But, yeah, in the SMNL, he was the number 1 seed, full of XBL players over there. So he's obviously got the juice. Burning Ice and Splifstar, this is a lot like Rise and Fall and Distill. Does it not seem like these guys are neck and neck, tied to the hip the entire season? They're always right there next to each other. And when you look at the similarities, Burning Ice has the 2-time Von Asen, going for a 3-peat hat trick on the Von Asen, and no doubt he's got a chance for it. It's the same thing with him always. He's going to really piss you off. I try to avoid him in scrims even because I don't want to lose my mental. He's so good at pitching, and then his batting obviously is something that he's very aware of. He needs to put up some more runs, but we had an entire off-season battle over the way he can steal so well and the way he can manipulate retreats and things like that. And that's something that's going to really work to his advantage, that he's going to be able to small ball some runs on you. And then Splifstar, doing a lot of stuff with his hardware from what I've heard. Messed with the joysticks, messed with his sensitivity. He definitely was a better batter last season. So when I'm looking for Splifstar, what I'm looking for, by the way, fellow caster just not here tonight, Splifstar, he lost a lot of numbers on the pitching side, which was interesting last season because Splifstar is seen as a top 3 pitcher in the AAA. It was almost like he sacrificed a little bit of his soul to hit better, and it took away from his pitching. If he can get his pitching back to where it was in the previous seasons, he doesn't necessarily need to bat any better than he did last year. And so for Splifstar, that's what I'm looking for him. Get your pitching back down to where you were, and you'll be just fine. You'll be a top 5 player with the way you can do that because you started to come around at the plate, and I know that from scrims.
Yeah. I mean, you guys have covered so much with this 3. This is a huge group with a ton of potential. Corn Central's probably like you said, one of those dark horse type players. And Spliff and Burning Ice attached to the hip, 2 of the AAA's closest to 500 players. Let's see how it goes this season. We'll see how quickly they play their games too. Both of them rapid pace type guys. We'll move up to ranks 4, 5, and 6. I mean, we got Elron Coin in the help desk getting the wishbone treatment there with a really nice fry meme, followed by Heisman. He's back with his stars. Heisman has fizzled out the past couple seasons, but he's got another top 5 ranking, and I think he's ready to try and take, something to claim for himself. And there he is. Followed behind him, it is Eduardo himself, AAA's Mr. Guy. So, hey, what do you got, Mystery Man, about this 3?
Well, it's a really tough 3. I would probably rank Coin a little bit lower than this, only because of his pitching. I think that still needs work. I'm sure he'd be the first to admit that. His bat is there. But it's not there to the point that he cannot be, crafting his pitches a little bit better. So I do love Coin, but I think I'd have him a little lower until I see a little bit more on the mound. Heisman grinding his buns off. Heisman's gonna do really well. Himmer had a couple of weird seasons where he didn't do as well as expected. I think at one point I had him ranked number 2 going into the season or something like that. And then he didn't do anything, but he was really solid last season. I think he finished 5 or 6. He's gonna do really well. And then Eddie's gonna be Eddie. Eddie's gonna be in the semifinals and possibly the finals.
Yeah, it's a little bit surprising. I'm not going to say I ranked Eduardo higher. I actually think I literally had him at 6. This might be the lowest since I've joined the league the last 3 seasons that I've seen the Sirloins ranked to start the season. But what it was to me is we haven't seen the playoff success. He's been here so long, and he hasn't gotten a trophy. He's a great regular season player, and same as always, like Richel, he goes on vacation this first week. I guarantee you, boys, when he comes back in the AAA, don't even play him for like 3 days. Just don't play him because he's going to go 10-0. It's absolutely ridiculous. Just the contact king, it almost feels like, and he's got some nasty relievers usually. Eduardo's really committed to his play style, and it works very well in the AAA. I hope to see some playoff success from him. My goal to AAA is don't let this dude get 12 hits because he's 12 hits from 3,000 in his career, I believe. 22 or 12, one of the two. And just because I love to troll Eddie, just don't let him get 22 hits the whole year. Just please. But he probably will. Then Heisman, like you said,
first game.
He'll literally probably get him in the first game. But hey, a man can wish. Then Heisman has been, like you said, absolutely grinding on scrims like I've never seen it before, and hopefully that's a sign to come because it seems like Heisman really has his ups and downs during the season. He'll go really good for a couple weeks, so then he'll fall off for a couple weeks. And Heisman's someone that has the skill to do it. His only issue is he's an Astros fan, so he plays at the Corral, which is just an awful stadium in my opinion. He's very similar to Eduardo in terms of play style, like the way he can contact swing, the way he can small ball runs across, and things like that. And his pitching style is so tough for people like me who are antsy because he slows you down and you have to think about every single pitch. And it's very unique and it's very effective. So Heisman and Eduardo are not going to drop any lower than 7, I would imagine, and could go anywhere up to 1. We've seen both of these guys ranked number 1 in the AAA the past few seasons. Elron, I like the logo, another custom logo, but Elron is someone I definitely have ranked up high because I don't know, I have this burning faith in Elron Coin because I've scrimmed him so many times. He's got the XBL level bat. Look at his batting average, 371. Look at all these guys' batting average. And Elron's got the highest, almost at 400. And like Miss said, his pitching can lack at times. But I think pitching is something that you definitely get better at season to season because you start to learn how to pitch in PvP. And Elron, the hardest thing to adjust is his bat, and he already has it there. So I just blind faith put Elron up here because I think he'll lock down his pitching. Elron's someone that's got easily potential to win the trophy. All 3 of these guys could, but I think Elron's got the true firepower to run away with it.
Yeah, all 3 of these players have had their regular season success, but have not quite found the mix in the playoffs. Eduardo being the closest, being a runner-up in this group and being, in his 9th AAA season, again, he's on that Hall of Fame watch. If he hits that 10th season, I mean, he's here right now. So this is a really, really cool group. Everybody's above 500. You got to wonder who's above them, and we're going to take it to 1, 2, and 3 right now. It is Black Coffee. He's back. He's back, and he's number 1, and followed by him, the man who sits next to us, Mystery Man. And then Teflon Don Lemon sneaks his way down into the AAA from the XBL. A righteous move. I think best for his career, where he will play a really, really good game. So this top 3 is the top 3. What do you say, Mist?
Yeah, when I heard there was even any talk of the flower bombs dropping down, I practically had a heart attack. I mean, it didn't really make any sense to me at all, based on what I know, which is more than just looking at last season. But in retrospect, I think it's the right move. Come on down here, show that you can dominate. You know, he'll probably win it. I think the flower bombs will probably win the whole thing, but possibly not. The pitching can be suspect. Certainly has the bat, but we haven't really seen him. We don't know exactly how much better he's going to be on 86. I think he's going to be quite a bit better, but the pitching still might be a question. So be interesting to see, but I would certainly watch the flower bombs closely myself. I finished 3rd last season, gave Billy a pretty good run, so it's nice to be rewarded with a pretty nice ranking here. I'm looking at this field though, and I'm just saying it's so dead even. I mean, am I better than Burning Ice or Spliff Star? Maybe, hard to say. Yeah, Black Coffee's earned that. He's been in the finals, I think, possibly 3 times, at least twice. Can really hit. And I just know personally, because I'm very close to Black Coffee, that his pitching is a lot better than it was last time he was in AAA. So when you couple that, if his bat is what it used to be, which we don't know for sure, but if it is, he's not going to be less than a semifinalist.
Yeah, what an incredible group, which you would expect for the top 3. Teflon, I actually had number 1. He's number 3 right here. Don't let 4 and 32 in the XBL fool you guys. The XBL is a different beast. Teflon is a monster and somebody that definitely took his rookie lumps in the XBL. And I think easily has the most potential. I think Elron would be 2nd and Flower Bombs would be number 1 in terms of potential to absolutely dominate the league. Not just win it, dominate the league. And he's really good at locating. He'll throw some weird sliders and things like that on you that really catch you off limits. His fielding is very much above average. We saw him on the highlights of the week multiple times last year, diving in the outfield, and he can hit just fine. Teflon is, like Miss said, anyone in the AAA, if you see an XBL player drop down, you take note of it. But I think Teflon is someone that you need to take extra notes on, because this guy is actually absolutely a beast. Mystery Man, he's always in the league, always improving. You look at his record at 92 and 129 for all time, but you can see last season he was well over 500. And Mystery Man is someone that's extremely difficult at the plate, check swings a lot, really keeps the zone tight. Then has an interesting pitching style, the way he uses chase pitches, which really works well against a lot of the AAA. So Mystery Man is right where he should be, I think, here in the top 3. Someone that, I mean, as anyone in the top 3 you could save for, someone that you would expect to be in that semifinals or maybe even the finals. Black Coffee, I don't have a lot of experience with. Great guy. He DMs me and we talk about like country shit. And Black Coffee is a great guy. Seems like a great player. He's got all the accolades that a great player would have, except for that trophy. And now he returns and he tries to get that all-elusive AAA trophy, something that's really difficult to get, because a lot of times you might get close and you get moved up before you can go get that hardware. So Black Coffee is someone that's tough. I scrimmed him only once ever, and I think I beat him like 2-0 or something. So obviously an excellent pitcher. But when you look at that batting average, that's not something I would have been aware of. 3.33 on the batting average is plenty to get you by, an incredible all-time record in the AAA. So Black Coffee, the OGs know it. I don't really know it, but number 1 doesn't surprise me from what I've heard. And like I said, like you would expect for a top 3, all 3 of these people could win the trophy and no one would be surprised.
Yeah, really strong top 3 here. We'd love to see this group and this AAA as a whole. It's going to be a gauntlet, much like season 15, I think it's shaping up to be. So, get ready, because it's going to be as strong as ever, and the competition's going to be as high as ever to see who comes out on top. But you know, there's still one more league to go over, and that is the XBL. And my man Zlot has been waiting patiently to get ready to go over this league. So we're going to take the bottom 2 rankings of the XBL over to Zlatanimal to start things off. And it's Snowbird here, the AAA champion, followed up by Billy Banquo. For a minute, you might have thought, is that Luke? No, it's not. That's another Wishbone special with the Mighty Mallards. A really good Photoshop job there from him. We love that.
Yeah, great job, Wish, with all these custom images. I wanted to make a Luke joke there as well. So, you know, Billy and Snow, AAA World Series finalists in the previous season, making that jump. So kudos to them for coming on up here in the XBL and trying to make a name for themselves. I think the biggest question is really going to be, well, I suppose two. It's going to be the bats, if those can keep up, but also, you know, the pitching, because we saw some suspect pitching at times. And sometimes that they improved as well, so definitely going to keep an eye on them, but kind of rightfully here at 20 and 19.
Yeah, once again, another rookie treatment type of thing. They were both in the finals last year for AAA, and I think that just shows what the XBL is. You could win the AAA and be the worst player in the XBL. That's just kind of how it is, but the key is getting better when you move up a league. And Billy was a rookie last year in the AAA and made it all the way. And for anyone that watched that AAA World Series, y'all know these two are very similar players, the way that they struggle on the mound, but the batting prowess was absolutely absurd. We saw like 25-24 type of ball game. We saw a freaking walk limit loss. Like, the pitching was a problem for real. But the batting was that dangerous that no one wanted to throw a strike. Like, no one wanted to throw a strike. It was incredible. So Billy's, if the bat remains there, even if it drops down, say 100 points on the batting average, Billy's going to be fine at the plate. It's all about that pitching, but also his build last year on his roster was so tough. It was just not built for him, and he played at Sakura Hills as well, the deepest stadium, and he had like the second most home run to the deepest stadium in the league. So, the deepest stadium in the game. So Billy, and he's been asking all the questions about the roster. It's been scaring me how many tips Billy's been asking for. Then Snowbird won the AAA, obviously, after struggling in the AA even. She went up to the AAA, switched hardware from the Switch to the PC, I believe, or maybe Xbox, PlayStation. It doesn't matter. She won the whole thing, and she was way better. So Snowbird's got an insane bat, and she did show, the reason she won the AAA is because she did show that she could locate the ball when she pitched. She went from reaching a walk limit loss to the rest of that series. She really honed it in and located a lot better. Her bat never sleeps. So when you look at these two, very similar. Snowbird, I mean, you have to put her above Billy because she obviously beat him in the AAA World Series. But a lot like Dynasty, these two, moving up leagues because their bat is extraordinary, but the pitching has to get better if you're going to compete in the XBL.
Yeah, definitely some huge tips there for these two here in the XBL as they come up and, you know, get up against these types of players that we're going to see here as we move up the board. And we're going from starting 16, 17, and 18. There's Just No Name with his cheese getting a huge highlight, followed by myself and the Motor Sox. Pretty rightful ranking for the way I've played the past few seasons, and followed up by Dynasty and his Tyrannix. He came up from the AAA and had a really good career down there where he was really kind of mashing, but the XBL didn't treat him quite as kindly.
Yeah, Dynasty definitely took some licks and, had to lick some wounds there his rookie season. I think we can expect a significant improvement in his bat. The pitching is gonna probably be the question, and the pitching at the XBL level just really needs to be at a certain tier to have a true level to compete and kind of make the playoffs. So have to keep an eye out for Dynasty's pitching, but we know what his bat can do. We also got Dwayne there at 17 at the Motor Sox. He's a bit of a wild card, of course. Had some success, maybe recently, kind of wishing certain things went in a different way in previous seasons, but he's a dog. He knows how to get splits, and splits are incredibly valuable in every league, but especially the XBL, so definitely cannot sleep on any teams, including the Motor Sox there. And then the Fromage with No Name and his signature play style. We're gonna have to see what his roster looks like, but I think we can probably expect to see as many 99s as he can fit in there. So A lot of fun here, a lot of movement. I think there's a lot of potential movement within these bottom ranks, so kind of keep an eye on these guys here as the season progresses.
Yeah, starting off with Dynasty, extremely similar. Like I compared him to Snowbird and Billy, just excellent at the plate. And the reason his record last year is what it is at 9-27, which by the way, for a rookie, that's plenty fine. I only won a few more games than that. Dynasty at the end of last year, toward the back half, you saw that bat wake up and he started to adjust. And sometimes I see this dude on for like 4 hours. The bro's grinding, he's just not scrimming. And that's something that XBL needs to be concerned about, because if he can get his bat back to where his AAA level was, then you got a problem. The pitching is obviously a question mark, as it is for a lot of players that struggle in the XBL, but the bat is 100% there, 100% caught up at the end of last year. Then just to piggyback on what Zlat said about Dwayne, has had successful seasons in the XBL, just struggled the last couple with this season last year especially, and Dwayne's been scrimming and things like that and improving. Hall of Famer, commissioner obviously, so he's got the script. If he really wants to be in the playoffs, he can just tell the league office to put him in the playoffs, but I'm sure he'd rather earn it. And I think Dwayne's looking to earn it this year. I think he's going to be a lot more dangerous. Dwayne, can I tell people our bet?
Yeah, you can.
Okay. Yeah, me and Dwayne, I'm so confident that I'm better than Dwayne, and Dwayne's so confident that he's better than me. I'm only going to include our half. If Dwayne sweeps me, I've gotta do some crazy shit on stream, okay, for the next broadcast. Not only that, I have to pay him money on Venmo. We've got straight up Venmo bets on our series because I'm so confident that I'm just gonna destroy this guy, and he thinks he's gonna beat me. And we saw on Match of the Week last year when he walked me off, that wasn't necessarily the case, but he's obviously got the juice to do it. No Name, we've seen this story before. He was ranked low last. I think he was ranked literally last year to start the season and made the playoffs, and he's down here at 16 again. And when you look at No Name, he's going to use the cheese like his placeholder, we'll call it, logo says. He used a lot of cheese, and he was very much concerned about the rule change and things like that, because he uses the steal and the diddle and things like that so well. Even an XBL player can struggle with the mind games he has. And No Name's got another interesting pitching style. There's only so many pitching styles to have that you can differentiate from, but he's one of them that has something different and will pipe one down the middle just to throw you off guard. For a player that sucks like me, you're going to whiff 5 feet high, even if it's right down the middle. So No Name's somebody that can easily make the playoffs just like he did last year. His problem is, I guess, streakiness a little bit, and the fact he's a contact type of swinger limits him a little bit. But No Name's someone that's always right around there, and someone that's always going to try to find his way into the playoffs. Very Dark Raider-esque, who I'm sure I haven't looked ahead of time, but it's probably on this next screen if I was to guess.
Yeah, these three players, and including myself, really, really intense group, probably going to play each other really hard, and we'll see how we go against the players who are going to be around us. That's going to be the next three up the board. But yeah, to note, definitely there's another part of that bet, and we're not going to go for that yet, but we can probably talk about it later.
It don't matter. It's fine.
It do matter to me, and it matters to somebody else, but we're going to go up to 13, 14, and 15, and there is Unicorn with a little beautiful logo replacement there. We love that. And there is Dark Raider like you were looking for. If you go looking for him, you're going to find him, and if you keep asking for him, he's going to give you the treatment, so I wouldn't treat him too unkindly. And there's Lot himself, Mr. Zlot, rank number 15. I mean, our casters, man, why are we getting this? What did they think of us? Why did they think of it this way?
Well, I think it's deserved a little bit. We got to kind of, show up at the plate and make a name for ourselves. Uni, did that last season with his success, making the playoffs. So we got to find a way to make our entrance to the dance. But some fun teams here. Got to make some adjustments on the roster sheet and game. There's a lot to kind of take in and look to improve on. But Raider, we've seen his roster submitted. He's got another, it's not the double barrel bullpen, but he's got I think a 90. I can pull it up really quick. He's got a 90 velo in the pen, and then every other pitcher on his staff is at like 20 or 30. So you're gonna have to learn how to hit high and low velo real quick, because that 90 velo reliever is coming in the game as soon as he needs to call on her. So, you know, a lot of fun here. We'll see, you know, my roster and Uni's roster here shortly. But I think this group of 3 right here is, you know, room for improvement. You know, the 2 teams, 13 and 14, made the playoffs last season technically, but it was close. I was actually a game away from if I had one more win, it would have been a play-in between Raider and I. So, you know, things are kind of cutthroat right at these ranks here.
Yeah, like you said, cutthroat, no doubt. All 3 of us were right there neck and neck at the end of the season, and it was kind of up to you at the end of the season playing Mr. Clutch. RIP, Mr. Clutch, miss you if you watch this. You're a great friendly foe and kind of helped me get into the playoffs last year. Almost took my playoff spot away, but then helped me out. All 3 of us are going to be right there again, I think. Zlat, obviously, he's got the AAA championship, which is why he moved up. Then was fine in the XBL. Won a Rookie of the Year in the XBL previously. And then last year there was a lot of rookies, and Spaceman kind of ran away with that Rookie of the Year. Excellent pitcher. And he can catch fire at the plate. It's really tough to play Zlat, someone that I struggle against, someone that a lot of people struggle against, a lot of close games. Dark Raider, the book's been out on him forever, but there's nothing you can do about it. He's going to hold you to like 2 runs, and he's going to play you for about 18 innings until you're out of your mental capacity, and then he's going to hit a ding-dong on you. So that's just Dark Raider's game, and he's someone that finds himself in the playoffs, I think, for back-to-back seasons now, if I'm not wrong. And he's got that same logo returning. Dark Raider's someone that people just don't like to face, because you're not only in for 2 games, you're probably in for like 3 or 4 by the end of it, the way he plays innings and the way he pitches. And like Zlat pointed out, he's got that excellent bullpen. And then myself, honestly, that logo's fine, because that's exactly what I want to do. I want to shoot up to the moon. I want to be up there with the astronauts. And so you could act a toot or whatever, but I'm treated as a rocket, man. Come on now. That's God's unicorn on the top 10? Probably not, but we'll see. And obviously I snuck into the playoffs last year with a little bit of help, and then Pseudo treated me very kindly with a sweep, so that was cool. So my goal this year is top 8, but we'll see how it goes. I'm very similar to these 2, and I just hope we all improve, as most XBL players do.
Yeah, I don't think Wishbone intended for you to say shoot up there with the astronauts.
He knew. He's got high hopes for me. You know, Wishbone's got high hopes for me. Come on now.
That's beautiful. That was an amazing segue. And only unicorn, man. That's why we got you in this booth, baby. 10, 11, and 12. Look at this crew here. I mean, this is actually a really scary crew when you look at 10, 11, and 12. You got Spaceman Spumoni, who came out of the woodwork, won the Rookie of the Year pretty handily last year, followed by AJ McHenry, who has all the chance in the world to win the Rookie of the Year this year, being the XBL Cup champion of this past offseason. And they're followed by Ted Danson. Ted Danson! If you know, you know, folks. That's him.
Yeah, absolutely. This is such a great group of 3 again here. We're really getting into the meat of the XBL at this 12 here with Ted. Like you said, Dwayne, if you know, you know. You can literally never count Ted out. He's such a grinder. He knows how to win close games. He'll take advantage of every opportunity you give him. So you got to be very careful playing against the Dragoons there. And again, Dwayne, as you had mentioned, you know, Spaceman and AJ. AJ is very, very likely to put a good case in to win Rookie of the Year. He's coming off that Cup victory, so pretty impressive to not having played in a league yet and then winning the Cup. So very impressive. Keep an eye on AJ as the season rolls along, and then Spaceman gonna have his sophomore season here, and he has everything to look forward to because he had a lot of success to close out last season. Came up just a bit short against Ox in the playoffs, but the guy can hit, so I think his bats are not really, you know, anything to question. It's just going to be how much pitching did he improve upon. So definitely keep a close eye on these 3 here.
Yeah, a really tough group. Definitely a group that can move up. Obviously, AJ is the wild card of the group. Ted, I don't know a whole lot about, other than that he's been in the league for 8 years and that he's a good player. But I don't have a whole lot on him. He's got a Vaughn Asen, which I wasn't aware that he was that good of a pitcher until literally right this second, which scares me a little bit because I know he can bat just fine. He's got a 322 average. So Ted Danson's someone probably ranked lower because some of us don't know him quite so well. Then AJ, I knew was a good player. I scrimmed him. I was DMing him, giving him some advice, and obviously he probably should be giving me advice as he's ranked higher than me. But I mean, how insane is it for a rookie to come in and win the cup? And it's not like he was winning the cup on 80 ego, guys. He was on 93, I believe, when he won that cup, and he was playing people like M. Bennings, who are XBL vets who you haven't seen on the screen yet because they're really good players. And so AJ's an absolute dog at the plate. He's got that motto that he said in the chat, and a lot of people love, where my goal is just to score more than the other team. And that can work against some players, but it's not going to work against all players. So AJ knows, and he's very aware. He's got to work on his pitching, but the bat is obviously there, and it's going to be a top-end level bat. Spaceman's someone that I think could have the biggest jump up, even though he's at 10. I think he has the potential for top 5, even with the deep XBL this year. He had a great rookie season and fell off late. He had an over 500 average for most of 500 record for most of the year, then won that rookie of the year. He did fall off towards the end. Spaceman's going to be just fine, though. His bat's fine, and it's only going to get better. His pitching, it's very similar to AJ. He's got to get better at pitching, but he's not that far off. Spaceman's someone that's scary to face and absolutely murdered me last year in the league. So Spaceman, I've got high hopes for.
Yeah, I mean, same here. Definitely a huge sleeper in Spaceman. He whooped me up pretty good early in the last season. I was surprised. And then that led to his rookie of the year campaign, and I felt it was well deserved, after what I saw from him. So, AJ McHenry not following far behind in those rookie of the year type footsteps. And my man Ted, like I said, always deserves a shout out. So let's take it up to rank 7, 8, and 9. Speaking of returners, like Ted, we've got Pizza Volcano and the Moon Kingdom. They are back. Pizza has made waves. No matter where they go, that's what happens. Pizza can swing the dang bat. I mean, what can you say? A 48 and 46 record in the XBL probably doesn't do them justice. Followed up by Ox, and then the dog pound, M. Bennings, who just is fresh off of a XBL Cup runner-up. Ox is in the SMNL finals. I mean, all these players here, they're all huge.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you mentioned, Pizza. Well, actually, I'll go 987. M. Bennings, a great season for him, or I should say at least a great cup we just wrapped up there, making his way to the finals. Almost was able to reclaim it again for back-to-back cups, but just fell a little bit short. M. Bennings, dog pound. He's an absolute dog on the field. He will just run the count up on you. He knows how to pitch. He's very quick to learn what your strengths and weaknesses are. So it is always a slugfest to try to have to deal with M. Bennings and the dog pound. Kind of keep an eye on them to shoot up in the rankings as the season goes on. And then we have our cringe hollows there at 8. A lot of success. He's coming off, I think, his best season in the XBL last year. So definitely keep an eye out for him. We know his bat can do a lot of talking, but the pitching is also going to need to see a bit of an improvement. I think last season he had the double barrel bullpen with like 285 velos or something. So we'll see what he submits his roster as again, but definitely a tenured, veteran of the league. Someone you cannot take lightly at all. Has the hardware from the lower leagues. He's just missing it at the XBL level now. So that'd be a good one to keep an eye out for. And as you mentioned, Dwayne, Pizza is back. Pizza knows how to send the ball over the wall and hit it very, very far. He's making his return to the league, and for quite a few of us, it'll be our first time playing him in the league. But he has a very well-respected bat, and he's gonna make you learn about it if you don't know it already.
Yeah, like you, I'm gonna take your point on M. Bennings. The way he can adjust so quickly is really impressive, and that's what makes him really tough to sweep. You don't see very many sweeps against M. Benning in that dog pound. He only got swept 5 times last season, and that's a really good number. At the XBL level, that's going to put you in like the bottom half of the league in terms of who's gotten swept only 5 times. He's got like you said, the hardware. He's got him and Ox both have the hardware. He's got the AAA Von Ace, and he won that cup. He played against AJ, tried to win the cup again this season, and ran into really somewhat of a powerhouse in AJ in that cup. So M. Bennings is an excellent pitcher and someone that can cause problems at the plate. Someone that I think has swept me pretty much every time I've played him in the Cup and in the XBL last year. And then Ox, I believe, is the only person that could have a chance to win AA, AAA, and XBL championships, which was actually my original goal coming into the league, but they sniped me out of the AAA. Not necessarily. I kind of begged for it, but he's got the AA and AAA championship, and Ox can win the XBL championship as well. And I think that would be absolutely legendary for him to do that. And last year he showed that he can do that, had an excellent campaign at 25-11, was really #1 in the standings for a long time, had an excellent start. The Hollows are really tough. I just lost to him in the SMNL playoffs. Someone that when he needs a run, it feels like he always gets a run. He doesn't necessarily destroy you at the plate, and he doesn't necessarily destroy you on the mound. He's just competent enough at both to do damage and win 25 games in the XBL. And no matter what season is in the XBL, if you go 25-11, like, Jesus, man, you're a really good player, and I expect him to do it again. Pizza, I've only played her twice. Like y'all have said, excellent at the plate, really hard to hold down at the plate, has the long ball threat definitely in her arsenal. I don't have any experience with her in the XBL, so I don't know how the roster goes and things like that, but has a long ball though, has a couple of runner-ups, 4th season. This is the type of 5th season sort of thing, just like Ox in his 4th or 5th season, shot up the standings. And I think that's what you look for in Pizza this season. Someone that's going to turn that 18-18 previous record into something like 25-11 like Ox did. So Pizza's no one to be slept on, and someone that's, I'd say, a little bit of a wild card just because it's been a few seasons, but someone that is well known at the plate. And that's obviously a huge thing when you jump into a league, is being well known at the plate. That's the first step.
Yeah, if you can hit, that's a huge factor, and Pizza's always been able to hit. So really interesting group. These 3 players will probably be fighting for that top 5, top 6, like we've said, along with, who could be Spaceman Spoon below them. But let's see who got those respective rankings. And there is Flash, followed by Mama, followed by the XBL's runner-up Mush. I mean, that's Mush's run in the playoffs was insane. Incredible run. Probably one of the best runs we've seen in the XBL playoffs. And here he is at rank 6, ready to do it again. These 3 players all just, really tight, and all going to be fighting for the title.
Yeah, we could say so much about this crew here. Incredibly solid group of 3. Mush had an incredible season, found his way to 7th place, but then really just took every series by storm. It was a nail biter against Vegan to start out, but then he swept Flash, and just beat Wish. He just impressed and really just shocked quite a few people, but for some people they weren't surprised. They knew what he was capable of, and he showed it. He used that runner-up from last season, gave Lazy a fight as well. So maybe rank 6 is, for some people, maybe it's a bit lower than expected. Maybe giving a lot of respect to the experience and previous season results for the others, but 6 here is really not that far from 5, 4, maybe even 3. It's a tight group here as we approach our final ranking. So a lot of good things to say about the Curse, and can expect them to probably improve for the regular season performance here shortly as we get kicked off. Moving over to Mama, we all know what Mama's capable of, especially at the plate, and we've seen his roster submission with all that velo, so he's also known to be a really strong pitcher, and there's just a lot of positive things to talk about with Mama there. So definitely someone we can expect to see in maybe rank 1 or 2 early in the season here as the games get underway. And lastly, we're finishing with Flash here, who has so much to talk about, so much hardware, and he's going to look to add to it. Fell short, maybe an unsuccessful playoff stint for him last season, just coming up with the 0 against Mush, but in the regular season he was dominant, almost finished #1 if it wasn't for some heroics there by Lazy. So very cutthroat here as we approach the top half of the rankings.
Yeah, it gets harder and harder to summarize what you're going to say about the players when you get into these top 8 sort of range, because there's so much you could talk about with how excellent these players are. I think anywhere 8 to 1 is pretty tight knit. And Mosh obviously at 6 might surprise some because he was just in the championship and played the GOAT Lazy into 6 games, I believe, and was really tough. Another guy like in Bennings that adjusts extremely fast, and that 19-17 record, it was surprising. It wasn't surprising until he started playing in the playoffs, and you're like, holy, this guy's way better than 19-17, and he showed that he can pitch at a Von Asen level. Then he can just muster runs across in multiple ways, and he doesn't have the long ball necessarily, but he'll score runs on you, and it's really frustrating to play against him because he's so good at adjusting, and he can kind of adjust to how you play and still beat you at your own game. So Mush is someone that could easily see himself back in the finals, like Dwayne mentioned, a truly historic run in the playoffs last year, the way he ran through some of the top players in the league, some of the OG GOATs of the league like Flash, and Mama Junjun, always in the top 5 pretty much it seems. 27-9 is really the bottom that you would expect from him to repeat this season. Absolutely abuses that low outside corner fastball, and something I've never been able to adjust to. And just an excellent pitcher, also always in the Von Asen talks. But when you get into this top 5, these players are all Von Asen level, but they also put up like 8 runs a game. So it's really almost impossible to beat them if you're a player like me. And in the top tier games, that's why we put them on Match of the Week, because those guys are so tight. So Mama Junjun, someone that you're going to expect to remain in the top 5, obviously. We're just waiting for the playoff success for Mama Junjun. He's got it in him. He just has to have that playoff success. And I think this year is as open as any for him to make a run for it. Flash has one less trophy now than Lazy in the XBL at 4, looking, I'm sure, desperately to try to get his 5th trophy and reignite that GOAT talk. He got swept by Mush, which was really nothing to spit at last year because Mush made that run to the finals. You got beat by somebody that deserved to beat you, I would say, because of the run he had. 13 XBL seasons. I believe he created the league, things like that. You almost ran out of room on the screen for how many accolades this dude has. Flash is insane. He swept me last year, sweeps most people. Flash is someone that I think, he says he doesn't scrim and stuff a whole lot. Maybe he's felt the heat from last year where he wasn't able to advance, and I've seen him scrimming a little bit. If Flash starts scrimming and he starts being active, then look out, because Flash is going to be an unstoppable force, and it's going to be really tough to beat somebody like him. Excellent on both sides of the game.
These players here excellent on both sides of the game indeed, all pushing for championship type glory. Mama Junjun overdue, the Mush runner-up. Flash wants that 5th to stay in the contention, like you said. Lazy not here this season to compete with. So who's here at the top 3? We got to wonder, and we've got ourselves a massive splash as we've got Spluto here at number 3, and above him there's Wishbone and the Astronaut, the 2 familiar places for these 2 really, really strong players in the XBL. And then the returning former XBL champ, it is Luke. He's a runner-up, he's a champ, a 3-time runner-up. He's Rookie of the Year in Season 9. This is his 9th XBL season. I mean, he's a true veteran, true legend of the game. These 3 players are all, the true cream of the crop.
I knew I smelled some stinky cheese here as we were approaching the top 3, and there's Spluto right there at 3. Earned it, had a great season, ran into Lazy in the playoffs and gave him a heck of a run. Came up just a bit short, but honestly, yeah, a lot of respect here should be given to Pseudo and how he handled the season and the playoffs. He had to go through Mama and Uni as well, so he had a great season. He's going to have to look to improve on it, though. It's not going to be easy, as the Astronauts and Wishbone looking to get a bit of maybe a redemption arc. They lost in the playoffs in a way that they were not expecting. They ran into the Mush buzzsaw, so they had a great regular season, and we know what Wish is capable of. He can hit the ball far. He's earned multiple Von Asens. He's a decorated veteran in the league. He's just kind of missing that XBL trophy that he's been seeking for a while now, so this could be the season, who knows? But he's definitely earned that second rank spot there. And then that brings us to close it out with Luke, who returns as mentioned. And I think Lazy was kind of his kryptonite to some degree. Now that Lazy's not playing this season, I mean, that gives Luke the clear runway here to just lift off and take the season by storm. It's all really up to him. We know what his bat can do. His pitching has been pretty good as well. Maybe not Von Asen level, but hasn't needed to do it that way because of his bat, just like Lazy. So a lot of success and just a lot of skill here to finish out the top 3.
Yeah, incredible top 3 as you would expect for any league. I hated to put Pseudo up here. I actually had him ranked 2nd, and he's 3rd, and deservedly so. He just cheeses better than anybody else. He's got the skill, but he combines it with his cheese that just makes it absolutely a pain in your butt to face against him. He got put in the Hall of Fame last year, so obviously he's done a lot of great things in the league. Like Zlat noted, and like everyone knows, he ran into Lazy last year, but it wasn't like Lazy destroyed him in the semifinals. Pseudo barely lost a couple of games to Lazy and could have easily found himself in the finals against Mush. Excellent player, probably has the strongest roster, especially in terms of fielding and hitting because of the money he saves on his pitching staff. And so Pseudo's really tough to face, and he not only gets in your head, but he gets on base, and then he's able to manipulate those into runs. And then Wishbone, someone that's always top 5, someone that has been in the semifinals for a few seasons now, at least 2. I know that for sure. Has that Von Asen 3 times, which is absolutely absurd in the XBL to have that many Von Asens. Builds the staff for it. He's got a really good rotation, a really strong rotation, but he's just excellent in terms of using the mental and knowing when to throw certain pitches and things like that. So he's always going to be excellent at the pitching aspect of it. It comes down to his batting when you look at Wishbone. He can hit. His roster isn't necessarily built to have shootouts, but he can do it because of his skill. And like anyone in the top 3, he's got as good a chance as anybody. Really, you can stretch it down to the top 8, as good a chance as anybody to win the whole thing. And I mean, Wishbone, for how much work he puts in the league, I'm sure he wants to put his own name on that trophy. As humble as he is, I'm sure he wants to add his name to that website on the trophy that he hasn't been on yet, that he works so hard for. Then Luke, like Zlat said, I mean, we keep bringing up Lazy because he's so ingrained in our minds whenever we play in the XBL, and we're just like, oh my God, I'm going to play Lazy. Luke's kind of the same story. Like, when you're going to play Luke, you're like, oh man, what am I supposed to do? He's going to hit everything, and then he's going to make it hard for me to hit. And that's an incredible recipe, obviously, and that's why he's got so many accolades. Has a lot of runner-ups, but also has won the league. So he's shown he can do it. And like you said, Zly, he's got the clear runway. He's got the green light, ready, set, go for the XBL this season to go and take the trophy. Hopefully his PC holds up. I know his PC broke, wink, wink to Luke, but this year you've got all the opportunity to go and take this thing and win another trophy. And I'm sure that's his hopes. Anything less than a trophy for Luke, I'm sure would be a disappointment. And we're all pretty much aiming for him to try to prevent that. So we'll see how it goes. He's incredibly tough to face, and the reason he's number 1 is because he should be number 1, and because he's, as of right now, who you would think is the best player in the XBL, the best player playing in the XBL league-wide.
Yeah, I mean, this is the top 3. I mean, it's going to be really tough to beat these sets of players. I'm looking from the bottom up at this whole list, like, damn, as stacked as it comes. This is going to be a really, really fun season. And that really does it, now for all the power rankings for the AA, the AAA, and the XBL. I mean, you all did such a great job going over all the player profiles. And really thank you all again for the time to do that. Such an in-depth process, and so much passion and excitement goes into that from all of you. We really love to see it. And now we get to move on to the next part of the segment here tonight, and that is going to be the match of the week announcements. So people are going to get to see, if they sign up for match of the week, who they're going to be playing on those scheduled weeks. Obviously, if you cannot make the scheduled week that's here on the list, please just let us know. We can totally flex you out. There's going to be tons of open players, especially in the AA here that you're about to see, where we're going to be able to just kind of do flex match of the weeks or move people in if we need to. So definitely let us know what your situation is. And we'll be having tons of broadcasted games because as you can see, there's 5 casters here tonight. We've got other people in the crew. So we'll move on now to the match of the week schedule here. We're going to start out with the AA. And the AA here on screen now in front of you shows that we have week 1 reserved for Milik Dragonborn and Kawashi Blue as announced. It's going to be the AA match of the week opening night, but everybody else is in reserve right now. So we always traditionally do AAA and XBL on the weekends for a double header. There's going to be weekends where that doesn't work out. There's going to be weekends where people have to cancel. So that's where these reserves are going to come into play. So I'm totally going over this caveat right now that the AA reserve players, if you sign up for match of the week, continue to stay on notice. Play games as they come, but we'll be able to match you all up later on, especially for some extra matches of the week. So should be exciting. But let's move on now to AAA, where we're going to do a bit more predicting. We'll take away the AA matches of the week, and we'll show you AAA here, where we're going to start out with Johnny Caliber and Silly Power Ranger. Next week on the docket, we've got Teflon Don making a huge primetime debut in the AAA against Mystery Man. Eduardo and Heisman following up after that. Elron Coin versus Burning Ice, which is an extremely interesting matchup. Sham himself, the man in the booth, versus Rise and Fall. And you've got Rix versus Spliffstar, A Pitcher's Paradise, and Fireball Max rounding things out against Corn Sensual. Julio, Alec, and Diesel all on the bench in case other players can't make it. So really, really exciting stuff. Let's take it back to Sham, who hasn't jumped into things for a while, and see what he's got highlighted here.
Yeah, these are going to be some great matchups. I like that. We're starting off with a couple AA playoff contenders or playoff players from last season. Johnny and Silly Power Ranger are going to put on a good show. I'm curious to see how the ego bump impacts their gameplay, but it's a fun way to start off AAA, so I can't wait to watch that one. And then I've got Rise and Fall later. I think we've played a few times. I don't think things have turned out well for me, but I'm hopeful this time they will. But these matches of the week look great, and can't wait to see Mist win on week 2. No offense, Teflon.
Who do we got next? We got Mystery Man. What do you see out of this list?
I'm hoping for a split a couple weeks from now. Ed and Heisman is pretty much even up. I think Coin and Burning Ice is one of the more interesting ones. It's really going to come down to can Coin, can he hit Burning Ice? Because Coin is such a good hitter and Burning Ice is such a good... They're almost like contrast in style. I think Sham and Rise is interesting just because it's later in the season, and by that time Sham's going to have his feet under himself. Rise does have some really rough starting pitchers, so he's going to have to be ready to rock. And then Rise and Split is pretty even. And then Fireball Max versus Corn is extremely interesting because we don't really know what we have with Fireball Max. And I think at worst, Corn Sensual is going to be extremely tough. So we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, really, really interesting stuff there from Mystery Man. I really love those highlights. Light, what do you got for this group?
You guys all talked about probably everything I wanted to, so I'll take it in a slightly different direction. I'm excited to maybe see if Alec gets slotted in as a reserve here. I think seeing him back in the league is going to be a lot of fun, and I'd be really excited to see him against maybe Eddie or Elron. So yeah, I think you guys talked about a lot of great things there.
And then Uni, anything that stands out on this list to you? Anything you want to talk about before we move on to the XBL?
Yeah, bringing me in last, leaving me with practically nothing to say, which is probably a good thing. But there's a lot of great matchups here. I'm sorry, Mist, because you're playing Teflon, and I think he's extremely scary. I think the AA matchup, or Silly and Johnny were AA last year. Starting off the AAA is going to be excellent, and I think what I want to highlight most is that Fireball Corn thing, because like Miss said, Fireball's a little bit of a wild card, the way he can play, and I think Corn's very similar. So that's going to be interesting to see who locks in for the big moment, because we all know match of the week is an absolutely huge moment no matter what time of year it is. But that's week 7, guys. That's like where these two could be battling easily to steal a seed from each other, because I see these two as very similar type of players. Then just one quick note. In terms of the reserves, you got to give shout out to the Diesel, because he's been here so long and he's going to fight anyone on match of the week really closely. But Julio, the rookie, we want to get that rookie reserve in there if we can, because that's the big time. And I'd love to see how rookies react on that big stage with the bright lights. So excellent job at the league office to make these matchups. I don't think we have a single sleeper in here. These are all going to be great.
Yeah, really, really good crew here, and like you said, the reserves definitely deserve their shot. So we'll see how the season plays out. I mean, we've got a ton of people in the booth. Like I said, we might be able to do some more stuff than we've originally got scheduled here, in addition to accommodate some of these reserves, especially as the playoff races start heating up and things like that too. So please, stay on your toes. And now we'll move up to the XBL. We'll take it down the list one more time and see what everybody's predictions are for this group of players and this group of matchups we have here. Obviously, Mama Junjun and M Bennings coming at you hot tomorrow night to cap things off on the triple header. That will mean the XBL season's able to start after those games for the rest of us. So everybody's going to be waiting on tenterhooks for that. And then you've got Pizza and Wish followed up on the following week. Pizza versus Wish, huge matchup. Me versus Spluto, that's the one. That's the other half of the bet. If you wanted to know, I'm going to split Spluto at least. In order for Uni to make himself some money, and I don't think he is taking this as seriously as I am intending him to, but that's fine, because the only thing I need is a little fuel. So, and if you've been around, I'll beat anybody when I feel like it, if I'm, actually there to do it, so whatever. Anyway, we've got Dark Raider and Dynasty following up on 11-24. That's going to be a really interesting matchup. Those two players probably somewhat opposite playstyles, but Ty's got to really kind of stake his own claim. And then you've got Spaceman, Spoomoni, and AJ, probably a big circle on the list for me, followed up by Oxen's Lat, which is an early playoff type matchup that you might see again in a couple weeks thereafter. Followed up by Uni and Snowbird making a huge primetime XBL debut there. And No Name waiting in the reserves, just in case. I mean, whoever pulls him, just in case, is probably going to be in for a rude awakening.
Yeah, I can go first on these if we want to go in backwards order. Like you said, the second half of that bet is you said you're going to sweep Spluto. I literally, it pains my soul to root for Pseudo, but I have to because I have money on that one. So, Pseudo, please, just sweep him like you did with me, like 6 times. And then all these matchups are excellent. I don't necessarily want to go over all of them, but I think the one that stands out to me the most is that Spaceman AJ series, because we're looking at the previous Rookie of the Year versus the favorite for Rookie of the Year this year, and two players that are really similar in the way that they can both hit the ball extremely well but struggle on the mound. So that's something you're looking for, a high-scoring game on Match of the Week, which you love to see because sometimes the bats can go a little bit quiet under the bright light. So then I was begging the league office, don't put me with Snow, because especially not that late in the season, don't put me with Snow. I don't want to get swept on Match of the Week. But they did it anyways because they hate me. So they put me against Snowbird in the final week, and she has a very good chance. I'm thinking could steal my playoff spot type of thing. So that's going to be a crazy matchup. But so many good matchups. I mean, it's hard to highlight more than one, so we can give everyone else stuff to talk about. But excellent job again by the league office getting really tight matchups on here.
Yeah, I'll step in next here. I think League Office has given us an early Christmas present there with the Uni Snowbird playoff, as he mentioned, so that'll be one to watch out for. To keep it short, I think my one that I'd like to highlight is the Pizza and Wish matchup. I actually wish that was just later in the season where both teams are maybe kind of firing on all cylinders. We can really see the true potential of both of those players, but it's going to be in week 2, so I expect a lot of fireworks to be going off between those two. Should be a lot of good matchups here, and thanks again to League Office for putting everything together.
Yeah, I'm gonna go one by one here because I'm gonna make some picks. I'm going Mama Junjun here in the first matchup, just because of his offense. I love M Bennings. Wishbone over Pizza Volcano, which is a really, really tight pick, but I'm gonna go Wishbone just because Wishbone has been more active lately. He's more used to the big game, has been in a lot of big games. I really like this Pluto Dwayne matchup. There was some talk of putting this in the first week. I was all for it. I think Dwayne is just ornery enough to pull a split here, so I'm going to go with the split. Dynasty Raider, I don't know what to make of that. I'm going to go to the next one. I think Spaceman can take AJ only because I think his pitching will be slightly better in that matchup. Oxbox, very emotional, whereas Lat, I think, a little bit more even keel. So I'm going to go with a split there. but I think if there is a sweep, it's going to be Oxbox doing Oxbox things in that one. And then Meg versus Uni. You know, if this was early in the season, I would have God's Unicorn all over the place here. But later in the season, I'm a little concerned. I'm still going to go God's Unicorn with the sweep, but my confidence in that is a lot less.
Well, I'll hop in here. I'm going to say Snow takes the sweep here.
Hey,
I think we're going to see her come up and show God's Uni what the Black Roses can do. That's going to be a really fun one. But, you know, me coming up just from AA, going into AAA at the very bottom, just looking up at all these big names here. I just can't wait. I think my favorite match, the one that I'm really starring on my calendar, is AJ versus Spaceman. Both are really exciting teams. AJ's coming hot off the cup. And I think by that point in the season, week 5 or so, he will have really gotten some traction, and we should see him at his A game, and I expect that to be a great one. So, yeah, great job, League Office. Great job, XBL folks, for signing up, because can't wait to watch all these.
Hey, great job, you guys, for calling out some really good stuff here in these matches. I mean, Shams, Lot, Uni, Mist, you've all really pointed out some really great stuff. And yeah, like, I think the Spaceman versus AJ's got a really big circle on it for a lot of us here. So, really exciting stuff in the XBL. And the last thing we have for you tonight, now that we've got the matches of the week settled for you, is our hot takes of the evening. We're going to go down the list and drop something each to revisit later for all of y'all to kind of roast us on, or maybe, you know, back us up on if it's something that we really kind of spoke on business. So with that being said, Hummus submitted a take to me. He's the only one who's not here with us that submitted a take to my knowledge. So Hummus says that, to start us off, someone outside the top 4 will win the XBL.
Wow.
Any reaction to that?
That's crazy. That is literally what my hot take was going to be. So I'll have to come up with another one here on the spot.
Had to do him first because he was
oh, for sure, yeah.
the one who's not here. So this is the dance of hot takes. Who
I mean,
wants
how
to go
hard is
next?
it really, though? Because Mush just almost did it last season, and now it's more open than last season.
If I can real quick to talk about that with
Yes.
some analytics. So
Absolutely.
the reason that I was going to say it is because the World Series in the XBL has never been won by, you know, as a 4 seed or lower. So the 1 seeds won it 60% of the time, and we've just never seen a 4 seed or lower win one. So I think with how the parity has gone across all the leagues, including the XBL, I think this is probably the best time for that to happen.
I say just make that Hummus ends lap.
No, that's okay. I'll come up with something. I also did get a DM from Spliff, if we want to throw his in here real quick,
Sure.
Join.
Gotcha.
Yeah, let's
He
go split next.
wanted to say he thinks that Mist, fellow caster, will get some hardware this season, either Long Bolo or Von Asen.
That was mine.
Ooh.
Why are people taking each other's, man? We should have put these in before, because now I gotta
Part
think
of the
of
fun
one.
is the random nature of it all.
Yeah, it's good.
Man,
Well, who
You and I
goes
can go
next?
last,
Who doesn't
Lenny.
have a
Yeah.
who doesn't have a random? That's gonna have to be Miss next, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with this is called the Black Watch.
Okay.
All right, and it's got 4 parts to it. The Black Watch.
okay.
So Black Coffee finishes top 3 in Von Asen. He wins the home run crown. He does not win the championship,
Ooh.
and he does not take back the all-time AAA home run crown from yours truly.
Ooh, spicy take.
That's
With a lot
so
of caveats.
specific. So specific. If that one hits, it's got to be the most impressive, because that is incredibly specific.
That was well worked on by Mystery Man. Nicely done.
What a parlay. What are the odds on that parlay?
Parlay missed. How much you got on that one? What's the payout?
What's a mortgage anyway?
Yeah, seriously. Very well done. I mean, really interesting stuff there. Well, let's go next to Sham, since the other two are still thinking for a minute. Really
Yeah.
interesting stuff.
I have a hot take that is completely unfounded in reality, and that is that a rookie's going to take AA. We're going to see somebody new step up and show us what they got.
Yeah, I like that one because last year we had so many rookies that could have won it, and now this year there's some returning guys like Too Easy who was in the championship, and you're expecting a rookie to beat him. That's pretty hot, but I like
It's
it.
very good.
Yeah, going for the fire.
That's a huge take. I guess I'll go ahead and throw on a take here before the other two who have to replace theirs. And I will go ahead and back myself up in history and say something ultra specific. The 10th seed will win the AAA, whomever that may be, because at one point in my life that was me.
Who was ranked 10? Oh, Rick's? Very possible.
Not tonight. Whoever finishes 10th.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, Dwayne's gonna have a new best buddy at the end of the season in AAA when he sees who number 10 is.
Yes, absolutely. Especially if we're doing
Right,
playoff
Rip.
bets.
I mean, I got mine if you're ready. I'll just
We're
up
ready.
the ante on mine.
Okay.
All right, so I was very high on Mist. The AAA is very great. And Mist also last year, his hot take didn't hit because I suck, but he said I was going to be over 500 in the XBL. So I felt like I needed to throw something in for my boy Mist, and I've got the faith in him. I think Mist just wins it all. Mist wins it all. It doesn't matter about the accolades during the regular season, long said whatever. Mist is due. He's been playing all these seasons and he's been getting better. And last year he inched closer than he's ever been, I believe, and had his best record. Mystery Man and the Mist Inc. win the AAA this season.
It's a good take.
That's big caster love right there. That's big reciprocation. We love to see that here.
Miss,
It
when
is
you
nice.
moving up to XBL?
Yeah, he'll be in the XBL. Sorry about that, but you'll at least to have fun in season 18.
All right. Well, we got Slot next. Do you
Yeah,
have a
so
refined take for
I'm
us?
racking my brain. I wonder if Hummus put it in one of those chats and I just subconsciously like saw it and thought it was my own thought, but that's okay. I think I'm gonna up the ante though on that same line of thinking and say that probably for the first time ever, I don't have the research in front of me, but I'm gonna say we will not see a 1 seed win any chip this season.
It's a good one.
I like it, especially with those XBL stats you threw out where the 1 seed wins so much.
We like
Yeah,
that.
it's
That's good.
incredibly favored to 1 seeds for sure.
Yeah, parity is big, but the 1 seeds and the 2 seeds, especially in XBL's past and the AAA's past, have been quite the more powerful. Usually that's where you're sometimes over or under, whatever, under you good players, I guess you would say, somewhat end up. But no, I think that's a huge take, and everyone came up with some really, really good stuff here. So, guys, I mean, that's a great list of stuff. That's a great set of rankings. That's a solid list of matches of the week. We're kind of wrapping things up here tonight on this Season 18 preview show. The next thing we're going to be live for is going to be some big games. So before we kind of wrap up here tonight, does anyone kind of want to leave us with anything? I guess we'll kind of take it around the round table one more time. Maybe we'll start with Shane. What do you got to say, my friend?
Season 18, get those controllers out. Start swinging. Can't wait for tomorrow.
Boom. We love it. Let's move it to the lap.
Yeah, on the same line of thinking, get those rosters submitted. We got a lot of people missing rosters, myself included, so I'll take the blame there. But we don't want to burden Wish with, crunch time, trying to get rosters in. I mean, he's a human, right? He does a lot of great work for the league, so
Yeah, we
He's
much
not huge,
appreciate
dude.
everything Wishbone does. He's an absolute dog. So, yeah,
literal
shout out to
computer.
him. Who's that, Uni?
Yeah, I mean, sure, I could talk. I got stuff to talk about. I mean, season 18, guys. Let's have fun. Let's get our games in. My main goal for the entire league is no one drop. Just play your games, even if you struggle. Play your games. I always like to shout out Johnny. It's like, I guess, a little bit of a hit on him, but more, it's like so proud of him. He went 2-38 his first AAA season, and he finished the season if you do bad, just keep playing, guys. A lot of us put in energy and effort and time into the league, and no one wants wins taken away or losses taken away for people not finishing the season. So life happens, but get those games in early and often if you can. And then obviously, back to my bit, win you a unicorn of the week, boys. Get you a unicorn of the week, because there's only going to be about 3 or 4 on the season, and you're going to want one. If you want me to dress up stupid and be your theme, then play really well for like a week or 2, and then go get that thing. But good luck to everybody in the season, man. This is going to be really awesome. It's good to see returning players and new players. It's always really fun to start the season to see how everyone starts off.
Yeah, huge thank you, Uni. That was really well said, and just love your passion and energy for the league. I mean, you've really added a lot with this Unicorn of the Week stuff. I think that's going to be great. And let's take it to Mystery Man before I sign us off. Anything you got to say for us here before we take it to the big show? I mean, this is the most exciting day of multiple different times of the year for you. Let's do it, man.
Yeah, I just want to say I really want one of those unicorn thingies. I hope I don't go the whole season without one. I don't need more than one, but I want one. That's all. We got 6 huge games scheduled for tomorrow, folks. So, get in there and support, even if it's not your league. I implore you guys to get in there, because these other games can be, they can turn into some crazy stuff. And we've got some really fire matchups. I actually think this might be the best preliminary match of the week set list we've ever seen, because it just seems like every matchup is nuts. So it all starts tomorrow. Get your rosters in there. We've got tons of teams in every league. Got a lot of exciting players. And one more thing I gotta say is, the only person who is in a league in the XBL this season that has won that league is Luke. Everyone else who thinks they're all that right now is not all that. It's going to be rough. These people are rough. So, do the work. Don't show up drunk. Put the work in there, whether it's scrimming your buddies or getting, some batting practice in. But be excited. This is so much fun. This is the time of our lives. So get in here, have some fun. And, we're all looking forward to season 18.
Yeah, right. Everybody's raring to go. Well said, Mystery Man. I mean, everybody did a great job here tonight. Everybody's going to do a great job getting their games in this season, making the XBL into what it is, making it what it's all about, which is the games played by you all.
One quick caveat there. I meant to say that Luke is the only one who's won their league recently. That's obviously true. if you go back to Flash and them, they've won it, but Luke is the only one who in recent memory has won their own league. Everyone else is really kind of part of the pack.
Yeah, for sure. And there's a huge amount of parity in the leagues as we've seen over time, and it's developed to be kind of just an animal of its own. So we'll see it more on these primetime casts. We'll see it more as the season goes on. We'll see what you all bring to the table as season 18 gets its sea legs and starts to develop. So join us tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Eastern. That's 3 p.m. Pacific. What is it? 5 p.m. Pacific and 6 p.m. Pacific. So should be really exciting stuff. Everybody have a great night. And we will see you next time. Have a safe and pleasant evening. And enjoy some XBL on your Saturday. Bye-bye, y'all.